Level 1, The Outsider. You are 17 years old. It is 1991. Rain turns the streets of Osaka black. Your shoes are wet. Your stomach is empty. You have 900 yen and nowhere to sleep. Your father left 3 years ago. Your mother stopped asking where you go. The construction company pays you by the day and forgets your name by sunset. Then a black Toyota stops beside the curb. The man in the back seat wears a dark suit. A white scar crosses his eyebrow. He does not ask what you are good at. He asks if you are hungry. 20 minutes later, you are eating curry in a restaurant that would have thrown you out alone. The owner bows to the man beside you. Your water glass never becomes empty. You notice the clean cuffs, the heavy watch, the way nobody interrupts him. He belongs somewhere. That is what you want. For 6 months, you carry bags, wash cars, and wait outside offices. You are not a member. You are useful because you arrive early and never ask what is inside the envelopes. The older men call the organization a family. You have not had one of those in years. When police question you outside a nightclub, you say you know nothing. The next morning, the scarred man places a key on the table. It opens the office after midnight. Level 2, The Associate. You are 19 years old. The office smells like cigarettes, floor wax, and instant coffee. You arrive before 7. You sweep the entrance. You prepare tea for men who never thank you. Your job is to remain invisible until someone needs you. You drive senior members to funerals, restaurants, and police stations. You sit in parked cars for 4 hours. You learn which men speak loudly because they are powerful, and which speak softly because they do not need to prove it. There are rules nobody writes down. Never sit first. Never pour your own drink first. Never let the boss wait for a door. Your allowance barely covers the suit you are expected to wear. Your old friends think you are getting rich. You still borrow coins for the train. In 1992, Japan's Anti-Boryokudan Act takes effect. Newspapers say the age of visible gang offices is beginning to close. Inside, the phones still ring, the envelopes still arrive. But the older men begin using different words: consultant, business partner, friend of the company. The organization is learning to disappear. When a senior member is arrested, you drive his wife and 2 children home. You leave your allowance on their kitchen counter. The boss asks why. You say because they are family. A white porcelain cup is placed before your knees. Level 3, The Wakashu. You are 23 years old. The room is silent except for sake entering a cup. You kneel across from the oyabun, the parent role. You are the kobun, the child role. The relationship is sealed through sakazuki, the ceremonial sharing of sake. You enter with your father's surname. You leave carrying another man's name above it. Now you are Wakashu, a junior full member. Your first tattoo begins high on your shoulder, where a shirt can hide it. The needle works for 3 hours. You do not move. Pain is easy when people are watching. Restaurant owners recognize you. Younger associates lower their eyes. A nightclub manager gives you the best table, then adds the cost to a debt nobody mentions. You collect monthly envelopes from businesses connected to the family. Most conversations last less than a minute. Your presence says the rest. You tell yourself you protect people from worse men. Some days, that is even true. Your mother sees the tattoo while you change shirts. She sits on the bed and looks at the floor. She asks whether you are safe. You tell her yes. You have never been less safe. Later, you accept responsibility for a mistake made by another member. The younger man keeps his place. You lose part of yours. The boss remembers who protected the organization. He begins calling you Kyodai, older brother. Level 4, The Kyodai. You are 31 years old. You no longer wait beside the door. Men wait for you. You supervise 12 younger members from an office above a closed karaoke bar. They bring you problems every morning. A debt that cannot be paid. A business owner who wants distance. A member who spoke carelessly after drinking. You are expected to solve everything without disturbing the men above you. Responsibility travels upward only when it becomes impossible to hide. Money travels upward every week. Your office receives more cash in a month than your mother earned in 10 years. Very little belongs to you. You marry a woman named Emmy. She says she can live with the silence. The silence changes after your daughter is born. At school forms, Emmy uses her own family name. At restaurants, you choose private rooms. At the public bath, a crossed-out tattoo sends you back to the car. Society knows how to exclude you without saying your name. Businesses add clauses allowing them to reject ties that support organized crime. Banks, landlords, and insurers learn to ask who you are connected to. Your organization calls this persecution. Your wife calls it Tuesday. When the 19-year-old under you is arrested, newspapers print his face, not yours. You visit his mother. She bows until her forehead nearly touches the table. You understand what rank means. The men below absorb the punishment. The men above absorb the profit. You are promoted because both sides still trust you. Level 5, The Wakagashira. You are 43 years old. You are now second in command. The office is larger. The windows do not open. 3 telephones sit on your desk and none belong to you personally. The Kumicho gives direction. You turn direction into orders. Below you are branch bosses, senior brothers, members, associates, and men whose names never appear on a list. Above you is one man. Everyone blames you first. You settle disputes between groups that each want more money and more respect. You attend funerals where half the room watches the coffin and the other half watches you. Your power is measured by how rarely you raise your voice. When you joined, police counted roughly 91,000 members and associates nationwide. Now the number falls every year. Offices close. Younger men refuse the old sacrifices. Crime moves through anonymous phones and temporary crews that share no sack and claim no father. The family is shrinking. The business is changing shape. Emmy leaves after 21 years. She takes the photographs. Your daughter sends one message. Do not contact me until you are out. You read it 6 times, then delete it because another boss is entering the room. The Kumicho becomes ill. For 11 months, you run the organization without sitting in his chair. At his funeral, hundreds of men bow. Police record every license plate. When the ceremony ends, a cup is placed before you. This time, nobody sits across from it. Level 6, the Kumicho. You are 54 years old. Everyone calls you father. You have never felt more alone. Your organization once filled 3 floors. Now it uses 1. The brass nameplate is gone. Meetings happen behind blank doors in buildings with ordinary names. At the end of 2025, police count about 17,600 members and associates across Japan. Less than 1/5 of the number recorded when you entered. You survived long enough to inherit a disappearing world. The younger men do not want tattoos that close public baths and gyms. They do not want formal names on police lists. They want fast money, disposable accounts, and no father above them. You believed loyalty made your organization different from ordinary criminals. Now loyalty is the most expensive thing you sell. You own a watch worth 4 million yen. You cannot wear it to your daughter's wedding because you were not invited. You have drivers, lawyers, and men who stand when you enter. But leaving may still require official help to open an ordinary bank account and return to normal life. You spent 35 years becoming a man nobody could refuse. Now ordinary society can refuse you with one checked box. One evening you find the key the scarred man gave you in 1991. The old office is gone. The restaurant is a pharmacy. The man has been dead for 12 years. You keep the key anyway. It is the first thing this family gave you. It opens nothing. Across the city, a 17-year-old boy sits outside a convenience store. His shoes are wet. He has stopped answering his mother's messages. No black Toyota arrives. A message appears on his phone from an account with no name. Easy money tonight, no experience required. He looks at it for 6 seconds, then he replies. The old families are shrinking. The hunger is not.